Hello and welcome to your main movie report. This week I have watched the film John Carter. John Carter is based upon a series of sci-fi novels created by then famous sci-fi and fantasy author Edgar Rice Burroughs. Edgar Rice Burroughs is mostly known for Tarzan, but unknown to me until this movie was released. He also wrote a series of sci-fi novels, where one of these series was the John Carter series about this US Civil War veteran who is in the 1800s is transported to Mars, or Basum as it's called in this universe, where he becomes the center of a civil war between different races on that planet. This series is of course what the Disney John Carter film is based upon. It's based mostly upon the first book of a series of 11 novels about John Carter's adventures on Basum. And of course you can see when you watch John Carter that a guy like George Lucas has taken much of his inspiration for Star Wars from Edgar Rice Burroughs, and I think, and I'll come to that in a moment, why of course this film doesn't go very well in America, but I'll come to that later. But the film itself is it's a good sci-fi film. It's not with spaceships and all the other things with giant robots and all that other stuff we're used to in sci-fi flicks. No, it's like a mixture of Star Wars and Dune, and it's more intelligent sci-fi in that matter. It's more thought-provoking. It's not for the main masses, in my opinion, and I guess that's because that's the reason why it hasn't worked. One of the reasons why it hasn't worked very well in America, because I guess the American movie-going audience, they mostly want this fast-paced action, bang bang, blow the head off bad guys with swords, kind of sci-fi film. But John Carter isn't that kind of film. It's more of a film about personal discovery, discovering who you are, fitting in, and I guess that doesn't go very well with the American audience. But again, the story is that John Carter, played by Taylor Kitsch, yes, that's his name. He's a Civil War veteran transported to Mars by this magical gateway, a bit like Stargate, where he meets these different races. And one of these races, I don't remember the name, but they are these four-armed green lizards, and they, of course, are very impressed by John Carter. The Lizard King is voiced by Willem Dafoe, and they are very impressed by his abilities because of low gravity on Mars. John Carter is able to jump very high and punch very firm. And then, of course, John Carter, he discovers that there's a civil war going on Mars, and between I don't seem to remember the different races, but we have two humanoid races, one of them with blue insignia and one of them with red insignia, and they fight. The humanoids fight each other, and the lizards which John Carter meets first when he comes to Basum, where just kind of in the middle, they're kind of a scavenger people, and they are like waiting until the humanoids, they destroy each other. And basically, then John Carter, he, after being with the lizards, the four-armed lizards people for a while, he encounters one of the warring humanoid races on Mars, where he of course falls in love with the princess of one of these warring factions, played by Lynn Collins, a very Lynn Collins with yes, she's very voluptuous, or what you call it. And yeah, and then John Carter, of course, he joins the weaker of the races, and the blue one and the evil one, the red race, the humanoid race with the red insignia. They have allied with themselves with strange people, led by a character called Matai Sang, played by Mark Strong. Mark Strong, who we have seen in several other films lately, like where he played, of course, I have mentioned that in other reviews, he played, for instance, Lord Blackwood in the first of the Robert Downey Jr. Sherlock Holmes films. And of course, it's you can immediately see when you, as I said earlier, when you watch John Carter, that many other sci-fi films have taken inspiration from John Carter, and I guess that's why the film didn't go very well with an American audience, because it contains it contains scenes and generally stuff we have seen already. But and that's a bit of a shame, because it's a great film in my opinion. I enjoyed it, and then it saddens me that it didn't go very well with the American audience. But I don't know why what I don't get is that why, if a film fails in America and plays well with worldwide audience, why film distribution companies like Disney still consider a movie a failure only if it fails in America. That's in my opinion, that's a bit narrow-minded by the American companies. But again, that's a personal view in my optics. But anyway, as I said, it's an okay film. It's not like Starship Troopers, it's not Star Wars, it's more of an intelligent sci-fi, and as I said earlier, I guess that kind of sci-fi doesn't go well with the current movie-going audience in America, and that's a bit of a shame, because if you compare it to a film which came out last year, Cowboys and Aliens, that film contains a lot of action and fast-paced action, and that film, in my opinion, sucked. It was, and this is great. This film here, John Carter, is one of the more intelligent sci-fi films, but I guess that is not to the movie-going audience liking. I liked it, so. The film, of course, is directed by a guy who usually made animation films, Andrew Stanton, who have made several animation films, but I wouldn't call this film a bomb. I'm not going to call this film a bomb, and in my opinion, it's the audience in America who are dumb. And they would consider a Dr. Seuss kids film better than John Carter. That shows how low intelligence the broad masses, in my opinion, are in America. So you're stupid, movie-going audience in America, for letting John Carter down. So F you. And yeah. So but. This film, if I'm going to rate it, of course it wasn't fast-paced, but why does sci-fi have to be fast-paced? So if I'm going to rate it, I would say, and I'm going to provoke you now, I'm going to rate it 4 out of 5 Coca-Cola bottles, because I liked it. it had it was fun to watch. It had an interesting story, and it didn't have any gore and all that other stuff. So that's it. Euroman of Euroman's Movie Report signing off, and I'll return in the next video. Until then, stay safe out there. Bye for now.